and archetypes in this week's Grandmasters. Next week, the players can resubmit, and that means, well, suddenly, if the second is 4 classes or 5, it means that you can't just very reliably have a counter mage, counter warrior, play rogue done style. You do have to just mix it up a little bit, I think. But let's go into the game as the players are ready. They're already doing their mulligans. Tyler on the mage has some kind of hot beverage. I'm already interested as to what it is. Is it just tea? Is it not? We'll maybe never find out. I'm going to ask. But Glory also on the rogue there. Let's break down these opening hands for us.
All right, Glory on the coin decided to keep Edwin and a raiding party. Got another one back in the opening hand as well. Tyler full tossing everything, probably to try to find card draw to help him get more of the tools he needs against rogue.
Okay, well, not looking too great for Tyler so far based on the opening hand. We've seen a double Astromancer opening before this weekend, and it was not fantastic.
Yeah, Astromancer not the card you want against rogue. It's in there for warrior and sometimes the mirror.
Yeah.
Not to say that it can't be used against rogue as well. Sometimes you can get something really crazy off
You've just got to get there first.
Yeah, exactly. Turn 7 is quite a bit of ways.
Already now there is Coin Raiding Party available, or even Coin Van Cleef if you were so inclined, but I do actually like the hold. You don't gain anything by playing Coin Raiding Party really this turn. You may as well just dagger, get some kind of little threat on the, potentially on the board, as this deckhand is now live now for just 3 damage already from hand for Glory. But most importantly, you just hold on to your resources.
Yeah, in the past when we've seen Shadowblade being included in this deck, obviously that's rotated out and we have Waggle Pick, but in the past you could go Coin Raiding Party and then equip Shadowblade. Can't do that anymore with Waggle Pick with the 1 extra mana cost, so that kind of changes the way some of these players have to play.
I know Sol was preaching Perdition's Blade a lot as an additional weapons to the Waggle Picks as well. In Rogue, especially just after rotation, of course. And I wasn't 100% sold on it, but yeah, he was convinced that it was good tech. Or a different extra weapon to use, and one that can be used a little bit better with, say, prep raiding party, equip a weapon, and go.
Interesting.
That was my response to.
Yeah.
You didn't get to see Language Hacker's facial expression there, but yeah.
I squinted a little bit, raised an eyebrow.
Yeah. Just the one eyebrow though, not both. It wasn't a look of surprise.
Not a whole lot to do from Tyler's side. You don't want to be using mirror images just when it can be attacked with a dagger. You want to use it on some key turns when there's bigger minions on board, and Glory actually has to spend resources to deal with them. Also, keeping them in hand means his hand size is bigger for Astromancer or Giant later.
I've got a question for you. Are you using Shadow Step with Coin and Van Cleef?
Oh yeah, this is a Brotherhood turn.
Nice. Are you playing the deckhand again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not actually.
It is an activator next
actually, yeah, that's a
turn.
good point. You could save it for the raiding party. Good call.
And they're like, yeah, the big thumbs up from Tyler's like, I've been cleaved.
And now these images look a lot better.
Along with Ray of Frost.
Oh yeah.
And the Frost Nova. Like Tyler
and
can pretty much.
Oh my goodness, the Apprentice as well.
Tyler can pretty much just never let this Van Cleef attack for a large portion of this game.
So he can decide here if he wants to just go in now on Mana Cyclone or wait a little bit longer. With the 4 mana, this means any spell he gets back from the Cyclone, if it's at 1 mana cost, he can use it again with the Apprentice. But if he waits a turn, it kind of increases the range of spells he can use again after the Cyclone. Or he can just wait till he draws more spells. Maybe the next card's a Magic Trick and he gets a bit more juice out of the Mana Cyclone. But I'd be surprised if he just passed.
I think for me, it's a backwards reason of you do the play this turn. Yes, you're less likely to be able to keep playing spells, but you can use next turn to play the spells, because next turn Tyler doesn't have a lot to do either. So the spells he gains this turn will just be used next turn. He deals with the Van Cleef to a certain extent now.
Right.
And then, he's going to gain some spells. He might even... I think I would hold the Ray of Frost.
I think holding the Ray of Frost might be good. 1 extra spell off of the...
Okay.
Goes to use it. By using it, it does set up a trade on it. If Glory doesn't deal with any of your board, you could potentially trade both minions in and ping it off. Cards you got back aren't the most useful. The Icicle does deal damage to minions.
Astral Rift isn't terrible when the hand size is a thing, so if he draws a Mountain Giant, Astral Rift can help with that. And you never know, the minions might just be decent.
Glory now has to decide if he wants to... stick to the game plan he was thinking of before by activating this raiding party with the deckhand, or if he wants to deal with the Apprentice because he feels it's a bit of a threat. And I do like taking the time this turn to clear off the Apprentice instead of going for the deckhand raiding party. The Apprentice just is a little bit too much of a threat.
Not going to help too much this turn.
So Tyler does have a clear on the Edwin if he wants to do it. Icicle, Shooting Star, Ping. It's 5 mana. 5 mana. That's 4 damage. Plus the Cyclone on board lets him clean up the Edwin. It is quite a bit of an investment, but I mean, Glory's been taking it a little bit slow now because he had to eviscerate the Apprentice, so...
It wouldn't be too bad, to be honest. You can use Astral Rift to refill the hand later.
I'm just kind of scared. I mean, Tyler also knows there's a deckhand in Glory's hand, right? If he doesn't deal with the Edwin, Glory could swing at the 0 with his weapon, South Sea deckhand the image down, and that Edwin will connect face.
That's true.
I don't know if I like the Astral Rift from Tyler here.
I was meaning more next turn.
Oh,
for refill, right?
Yeah,
you do that turn this turn, and the next turn you play Astral Rift, and that leads quite nicely in, actually, to those the Astromancers, because it will just add +1 cards to your hand.
He was just mousing over it earlier, and I was thinking,
right.
yeah.
Don't do it.
I mean, he could. Perhaps there's something good in the box. Interesting. So this way, he uses the Nova to activate the Icicle draw, getting him another card in his deck. And this still sets up for Shooting Star Ping. And in fact, if he expects Glory to play the deckhand now to activate something else, the Shooting Star will not only deal 1 damage to the Edwin, but also, on a side note, hit the deckhand.
Just squeezing out the maximum value you can from each card is actually pretty insane.
I didn't see this originally. I don't hate this play. Okay. Glory developing Ziliax here. Cleaning up on the board. The taunt doesn't really help protect the Edwin from anything. There's not any charge or rush minions in Tyler's deck. I mean, actually, there is a Ziliax. But,
Ooh, another Rabble Bouncer. Not really what Tyler was after here.
yeah, oftentimes when you have... Rabble Bouncer is kind of tricky to use because obviously you can get it down really cheap when your opponent has multiple minions on the board, but against Edwins or bigger minions, it doesn't do a whole lot.
It ends up being often like a turn 10 play, right? Of just Rabble Bouncer, Conjurer's Call, and go. Just as a nice 7 mana minion to aim that at.
Deckhand Raiding Party from Glory. I believe there's only 1 pirate left in the deck now, which is the Bloodsail Corsair. And there is still a second Waggle pick, so the second Raiding Party will not do as much as the first. Blood and Plunder. Glory pushing for board. This does make the Rebel Bouncer a bit cheaper for Tyler, but it doesn't quite line up super nicely with the board. It does. It could eat up a Ziliax in the deckhand, trading into it.
Well, Ray of Frost might change things.
Astromancer I feel is a bit too slow. I don't think you want to take 8 damage. That's probably going to be more than 8 damage. You know there's Waggle pick in hand out too.
Because we double Ray of Frost with the Mountain Giant. Not in that order, of course.
Right. Could also go Astral Rift, Rabble Bouncer, and then just 1 Ray of Frost. Try to get used to these Rabble Bouncers. Adding some cards to your hand with the Astral Rift, making the Giant cheaper. Although you don't have the Conjurer's Calling yet.
A lot of options for Tyler here, actually. Game gets a little bit tricky when it's not. It's always good to have options, but when you have so many, it can be hard to just break down in the short amount of time that these players have during each turn. Already, as if on demand, there's the rope, and Tyler needs to decide something pretty quick. We've seen an echo effect be a little bit of a problem for players previously today. It's just going to drop the Astromancer. And,
he decides if he's ever going to play it, it's going to be right now. Attack Noswhisker.
Oh, I honestly thought his name was Naz Tackwhisker.
I
don't know why, but...
If production hadn't moused over that, I might have messed it up.
Oh, okay. Good.
Second Waggle pick draw on this Raiding Party number 2 in Glory's hand isn't going to do a whole lot. It's 3 mana, draw a 1-drop. He has to consider if he wants to try to clean up the board to prevent any Conjurer's Calling plays from happening, or if he wants to just chip everything face and say, all right, let's end this game.
I think I like full face.
I do as well. I don't think sinking 11 damage into these minions is going to get you anywhere. Your hand's kind of running out of gas. This Raiding Party's not going to do a whole lot. What else do you have?
Yeah, full face with a sap in hand and a Shadow Step as well to help out with some extra damage.
Yep.
Sounds pretty good to me.
So
big Raiding Party.
Tyler should know that that's Bloodsail Corsair and that there's a Waggle pick left in hand because that Raiding Party was comboed. So he can put a Glory on 2 out of 5 cards known, and it's just the other 3 cards. Actually, one of the other cards was drawn from the rating part, I believe, the deckhand.
Oh, right.
So he might even know 3 cards,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Alright, this play from Tyler looks like it might end up paying off. It kind of made Glory commit a bit harder to the board, try to push face, and now there's Rabble Bouncers can both come out in 1 turn. 1 sap's not going to quite do it.
Does anything else get there though? Because he can sap trade to kill off the 2 taunts effectively. He can play Miscreant, which will leave him with 3 mana. He can deckhand Shadow Step deckhand, which will still leave him with 2 mana, and he'll have 2 mana with 2 lackeys in hand.
Could work.
So it's still not going to quite get him there if he gets deal 2 twice, right?
The thing is, he doesn't have enough burn just to finish out the game. I'm curious if he ever wants to also throw in the deckhand into the Astromancer just to give him a bit more time to find the reach, or if he wants to just... I'm not even sure if you want to play the deckhand this turn and just go face. You probably want to see what's in the Miscreant. The thing is, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's the problem, right? You either play the deckhand first or you sap. But if you sap, you know it's coming down anyway. But maybe you can sap with the knowledge that you know that you're not going to have that many minions on the board if you end up just leaving the Miscreant. Oh, deal 2 and +1?
It's not
that
bad.
+1, that +1 in Rush can go on the deckhand for just +1 damage, you know, just straight off because of the charge. And it's still sap.
Glory draws something a bit bigger. You can also rush that into the Rabble Bouncer so that other things can go face. Tyler finds the second Nova. This is an interesting turn.
Is Giant Nova just good enough?
Trades are kind of awkward.
Just wondering if you put the 5/2 into the 3/3 and then just push the 6/3 face.
Yeah.
Because the Giant is just, you know, Tyler needs to make a play that actually ends this game because he's going to get chipped away pretty quickly.
The thing is, I wonder if he's thinking about the 1 sap in Glory's deck. 'Cause if you make that play, you don't freeze the Waggle pick, right? If there happens to be a sap, you know there's a pirate in hand, probably a deckhand. I mean, it has to be a deckhand. He's seen all the other pirates. So that's 6 damage if there's a sap in hand.
The problem is, so what? That's the same anyway,
Actually,
right?
yeah, you still have...
Yeah, that's it. Unless he can... I don't even know how he can stop that. He would have to Cyclone into a Frostbolt, right?
True.
So outside of that...
Or an image.
Yeah, make the strongest turn you can and go.
No, that makes sense.
Vape, not bad. Yeah, this is just the most offensive play you can make, and if a sap's there, well, the sap's there, and that's just the way it is.
Oh, is the sap even enough? 4,
Yeah.
6, 7...
Yeah, with a Shadow
it is
Step on
just
the
enough.
deckhand. And Tyler, although he managed to just fight back versus that early massive Van Cleef, it still wasn't enough, and Glory just gets the job done. Tyler never really had the big blowout turn of multiple Giants on board that Glory had to answer. And that was the big problem there with just the double Rabble Bouncers being played. When one can be killed, one can be ignored for now, and then the sap comes down.